Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time. I always like to say this every single week, yes, but it's so important, especially right now. It's obviously officially holiday season, right? We just finished up Thanksgiving. Now we have Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's, and then we got to focus on coming out bigger, better, stronger than ever for the new year, right? For 2023, we want to learn from 22 and 21, and we want to make sure that we're leveraging the best technology, tools, lead programs, sales platforms that we have to offer, right, to change your business for the better. And I hear all the time, I mean, almost daily, where agents call in or they'll send an email and say, oh my gosh, I didn't realize you had this platform or this lead program or this carrier or this product. If I knew this a year ago, I could have made so many sales from this. Okay. And that's the reason why we host these weekly training webinars. And that's the reason why we have our marketing playbook that's 54 pages long, literally, okay, to make sure we have a menu, figure like a dinner menu, a lunch menu of everything that Levinson has to offer. And it's a lot and it can be very overwhelming. Okay, we get it. But keep in mind, we have to cater to all different types of agents, literally from Key West to California, from a third bedroom term or final expense agent, right, to a CFP that works on multi-million dollar IULs or estate planning cases. So it's important for you to keep your finger on the pulse, okay? And all I ask you to do is be on our weekly training webinars, listen to our monthly 411 videos, okay, for the life and annuity side, and you will have everything that you need to know, and you'll understand why Levinson is not just another Me Too IMO out there trying to get your life and annuity business. Why we're unique, and why you're going to notice when you see some of our platforms that are exclusive that you can't find this stuff from anywhere else. So, yes, it's important. Number two, if you're building an agency, you want to take this message out to your agents or to new agents that you want to bring on board and use these, right, as hooks to bring these agents back to you. Okay. When someone says, oh, I can't find anything like Insure Me Now Direct. Well, that's right. You have to go to Susie Smith, the Levinson GA, to get access, to get free access. So anyway, it's very, very important that you keep your finger on the pulse is my point. And that's what we're doing today, once again, with our weekly training webinar. Today, we're jumping into Mass Mutual. Okay. They have an excellent, excellent portfolio of products. Okay. The best ratings in the industry. And years ago, they only had a career side. Okay. So yes, you had to be a career agent to have access. Now, okay, you have access through Levinson on the brokerage side. What does that mean? That means you have access to Levinson's 90 plus core carriers and Mass Mutual. Okay, so if that consumer says, hey, I have to have a company like Mass with a whole life that works like the Mass product does with a 20 pay or short pay, whatever it is, you have full access to that product at commissions that are not to be believed. Okay. In fact, it's funny. Over 90 plus carriers. Now, think about this for a minute. Our largest cases typically wind up going to Mass Mutual, and that's for a reason. Okay. Our record case, over $1 million of target premium, wound up with Mass Mutual, okay, with their whole life product. So you talk about strength and ratings, okay, second to none. And that's why we wanted to jump in. We wanted all of the Levinson agents to understand why Mass Mutual is not another Me Too company and what the niche is, why you need to think Mass with certain consumers, right? Or case opportunities. So that's what today's about. We're going to jump right in. A plus rated. Let's look at some of these bullets real fast. No exam underwriting to 3 million. External conversion program to 5 million. That's huge. Okay. I mean, when you think whole life, Mass Mutual, second to none. Okay. I have not seen that product, literally, if it's sitting on a shelf, get beat out by any other carriers. Yes, Some products are close, some products have other bells and whistles or maybe a niche that this doesn't have, but all around, this is second to none. I can promise you that. The industry leading LTC benefit rider. Why is that a big deal? Because the days of competitive standalone LTC products are long gone. We know that. Yes, we still have a few products, okay, but they're not as competitive as they once were and guaranteed like they once were. Anyway, let's focus on the bottom bullet there, competitive portfolio, whole life, UL, LTC, DI, and much more. Now, what I want to do, let's jump in. We have our question of the day, which we're going to hold back until right before 4 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to ask you a question that has to do with the slides you're looking at, okay, over the next hour. And whoever answers first incorrectly wins. We have a Amazon Tech package, okay? Perfect time for the holidays. So you're going to win a tablet, the new Amazon Fire 10, and then we have the new Amazon earbuds that just came out, plus the new IUL prospecting book, all free if you answer first incorrectly. Let's keep moving along. I thought this was an interesting slide here. We found this on CNBC, and what this spoke about was how 2022 was a record-breaking year for consumer payouts, okay, for annuities and life insurance combined. I mean, it's just insane. What does this tell you, okay, as an agent? There's no better time to get the message out there to consumers, okay? Leverage our marketing tools, our Ringy tool. Get the message out to all of your clients, prospects, friends, neighbors that you are the go-to for life insurance and annuities and disability and critical illness. Why? Again, another fact, consumers are aware. They're looking for answers. They want to be educated. Okay. And yeah, you would say 7 years ago, oh, Amazon's going to take over and there's going to be robo advisors and this and that. Okay. Well, guess what? 7, 5, 6, 8 years ago, okay, people were thinking that. And a lot of these startup companies from Silicon Valley, okay, popped up everywhere. Most of them are gone. Okay, what does that prove? Number one, clients are more aware than ever. Number two, clients want to speak to an agent, an advisor, okay, not a computer when it comes to whole life, to UL, to IUL. So that's where you come in. These are facts, 2022. Number one, individual U.S. life insurance activity increased by 3.4% in 21, following a record breaking year of 3.9% in 20. Number two, this is a big one, not for the insurance companies, for the consumers. U.S. life insurance paid more than $90 billion to beneficiaries in 2020, a 15.4% increase in payments compared to 2019, the largest year-over-year jump since the 1918 influenza epidemic, according to data from the American Council of Life Insurers. Let's move over to number three. Payouts to beneficiaries increased by nearly 11%, jumping to over $100 billion. The organization's latest report shows. Number four, individual U.S. life insurance application activity increased by 3.4%. And let me just say this last point here. Okay, you're looking at all these increases. COVID did most of this, as we know. Okay, and you talk about e-application activity in general, right? Agents, consumers were forced to use e-apps, right? I mean, there were carriers and products that you had to see the consumer face to face and fill out an app together with them. Those products and a lot of those carriers are long gone, or they had to make changes quickly. So, what did we learn from this? Okay, how can we take these lessons, right, from the last couple of years since COVID, and then make 23 our best year ever? And the answer is I have to be a little more tech savvy. I have to know the basics. I have to know what are my go-tos for under, say, 3 million of death benefit, where I can get a client in and out of underwriting if they're healthy in a week or two, okay, without having an APS and blood urine and everything else. I have to know how to use a Zoom call or a GoToWebinar, GoToMeeting. I have to know how to use my phone, use it, the Levinson app, sign up a consumer, either face to face, over the phone, right? It doesn't make a difference. But you have to pivot. You got to innovate to grow. And these are the facts in front of us. Okay? The last few years have been record breaking in our industry. Number one, for consumer awareness, right? Number two, for underwriting departments at the carriers. They had to hit the fast forward turbo button, right? To make sure that they had the correct technology to be able to sell products virtual, right? And over the phone. Very important stuff here. Okay? And you need to know enough to be dangerous. I don't care if you're 17 or 92, you have to know enough to be dangerous. We're here to help you every step of the way. Let's go to the next slide. I'm moving fast here because we have a lot of material to cover. So this is huge, okay? If you've known us for a long time or you're new with us, whatever it is, you always hear me talking about giving back, pay it forward, right? No matter what's going on, personal, business, I don't care. You have to do your part. It could be free, might just mean time, okay, out of your day, or it could be financial, but you have to help out. And because of our agents, we're able to do stuff like this. We're the silver sponsor of the Toys for Tots rally in South Florida, okay? We were a huge part of this organization called Toys for Tots. It's the South Florida division. And on the right hand side is the Commander's Award that this entire organization just received, the South Florida Exotic Car Toy Rally. Outstanding support of Marine Toys for Tots program. So very proud of this. And again, if it wasn't for you all, we'd never be able to do this. Okay, so my hat goes off to each and every one of you by working with Levinson over the years. That was a letter that we copy and pasted on the left side. Anyway, this is huge. American Cancer Society, Toys for Tots. It's about giving back, right, to those in need, underprivileged children. It's huge, especially holiday time. All right, agent testimonials. These are our latest and greatest that just came in. I'm just going to share one just because we have to keep moving. I want to make sure that we get our VP on and they have plenty of time over at Mass. Bottom left-hand corner, I'm blown away by the support and professionalism at Levinson. I was able to write my first life insurance policy ever, a $2 million term, thanks to your staff. Christy, Andrew, Durismo were instrumental in the whole process. And Bill's weekly webinars gave me the education needed to get my feet wet. You are literally opening new doors in my career. Okay, this came from a PNC agency that's just getting involved with life insurance, changing their year, innovating, right? Putting their right foot forward, trying new things, and they're at the right place. So thank you, Casey. By the way, leave a report, a review, a testimonial on our Facebook page. On Google Reviews, I send you that IUL prospecting book on us, as long as you're an active agent. Okay, next up, talking about innovating, right? Getting ready for the new year. What can you do to move forward and have your own Amazon platform, right? Where you can sell products direct to consumer, okay? What does that mean? You still get full commission, your agent of record, and you even get renewals on most products. Okay, 8 years ago, I started this platform. We had one decreasing term product. Okay, and it didn't matter. Why? Because we proved the concept that this could be done. We put our money where our mouth is. We invested in our dream, and it worked. Okay, today, 5 carriers, almost 20 products are on the platform today. We even have our latest Hero Term product by Assurity Life that we are launching on the 6th. So next week, up to $2 million instant decision, 100% direct to consumer. All right. And if you say, oh, Bill, I only deal with $20 million IUL cases or whole life, I don't want to deal with the smaller term. Great. Send them to your website. Send them a link. Your client can go on at 2 a.m., run a quote, sign up online, get approved, print and save the policy in less than 10 minutes while you're sleeping. You get full comp, plus renewals, plus your agent of record, and the product's convertible. There's no gray area. Okay? I mean, this is a no-brainer, especially the younger generation. This is how they want to do business with you. Okay? The living room table at 7 p.m. on a Tuesday night, okay, it's just not the way it is in 2022 coming into the new year. So now, obviously, if you're working on a big case, people are willing to see you at Starbucks or their house, whatever it is, jump in the car, get it done. No brainer. But for the smaller term stuff, critical illness, DI, guaranteed issue, Gerber, I would send them your link or do it together with them. Or if you run into someone at Publix, turn your phone around and you can sign them up in less than 10 minutes. Okay? All right, let's keep moving. What's new at Levinson? We're almost done here, and then I'm going to turn it over to John. So there's a lot new at Levinson, and I always say you got to keep your foot on the gas pedal 24/7, right? So if there's ever a time where you see this slide and it doesn't have anything new on there, we're doing something wrong. We're driving a horse in reverse in New York City in 2022, okay, which should not be happening. So this slide will always be full because we are keeping our foot on the gas, helping our agents open new doors. So I'm not going to go over each bullet because of time, but I'm going to include this in our thank you email that everybody will receive before we leave tonight and wrap up the day. Okay? Take a look at that for a second, jot down some notes. Let's keep moving along. So, as you know, I spoke about 90 carriers, okay, but we have our core companies. And when I'm talking about core direct IMO contracts, okay, there's not 28 layers in between you and the carrier. What you're going to notice here, okay, and these are our core carriers when it comes to whole life. Okay, you're going to notice top left corner, yellow arrow. That is our feature presentation today is Mass Mutual. Okay, and you're going to see some other great carriers as well. But what you're also going to notice is we don't have a Burger King and McDonald's on the same corner. Okay, each carrier has their own little spin, their own niche, maybe a rider that's not available with a different carrier, whatever it is. Okay, but all around, when it comes to whole life products, Mass is definitely our go-to. And then also what you're going to see is a green and blue asterisk. And what that means, green asterisk, those are scholarship approved. Every client gets a 1-year scholarship. And then, of course, the blue is our infinite banking sales strategy called YFB, which we're going to show you at the end of the presentation. That's just a way to get your foot in the door, a great sales strategy. Okay, our last slide, and then I'm going to introduce John right now. So John Hitchcock is our RVP with Mass Mutual. He's also a good friend of mine. We used to be neighbors. They have a great story to tell, some new additions, and they're going to run right before 4 p.m. Eastern. So sit back, relax, make sure you're taking plenty of notes, okay? And think about innovation moving forward. John, are you there, buddy?
I'm here, ready to go. Are you ready for me?
Yep, we are ready.
Beautiful. Thank you, Bill. And thank you, everyone, for allowing us to be on the call today. I'm going to try to not make this a product pitch, pushing product. What we'd like to do is have you come away with a pretty good understanding of where Mass Mutual hunts. And in order to do that, I've asked a couple of people to join me. One is Nick, who's one of my partners in crime, and Eddie is going to talk to us about a specialty product, keeping in mind that we're almost at year end, but how can we finish the year strong and how can we begin 2023 with a bang? And we think we have a couple of things to share with you. Keep in mind, as I pivot to Nick right now, that whether you have a newborn or whether you're 85, if you're looking for a financially strong company with incredible dividend performance that accumulates cash in a very significant way, that's why you'd come to Mass Mutual. So I'm sure you know where you would go for low cost term. If someone wants to buy the highest cap rate on their IUL, that's not us. We're pretty much a narrow lane. We're a whole life company. We're guaranteed base. We do a lot of disability income, but we're not going to talk much about that today. We're a whole life carrier with lots of bells and whistles hooked to it. So Nick, are you ready to roll there? You want to start us off here talking about product and what makes us special?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you guys for having us, not only John and Bill, but everybody here to attend. We're going to go through a couple of different items on the Mass Mutual platform, not only product, but also programs that I think can really help your clients and your practice as a whole. Before I dive in, again, I'm going to keep it very high level. So anybody has questions, feel free to interrupt, including Bill and John. But can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. So Platinum Pass is that program that I want to start with today because I think it's a very powerful program to get your clients additional coverage if they've gone through underwriting with another carrier recently. Recently has kind of different meanings, so we'll talk about that in just a second. But that is the entire program that has really been responsible for some of our bigger sales and also some of our more consistent sales stream, if you will. Being able to go back to a client and say, hey, listen, I know you just went through underwriting with, either Mass Mutual or one of these other 5 or 7 carriers. I know you just went through that. We're not going to stick you with a needle again. We're not going to ask you to, pee in a cup again, but we are going to take a look at your records and get you some more coverage, make it pretty painless, has been a very good driver of business for us, both here locally and across the country. My specific role within the company has been to essentially be a wholesaler similar to that of John. Before that, I was wholesaling for the entire Eastern Seaboard for Mass Mutual years ago. And I can tell you this program has been very, very effective at driving sales, again, both locally and at your agencies. Again, as long as they're approved at standard or better at these following approved carriers, we can entertain coverage for them and get them coverage up to $5 million in a lot of scenarios. Again, I'm not going to dive too deep into it, but this is the program. And as you can see, our approved carrier list is very expansive, right? As you can imagine, it holds all of the top companies that you would expect to be on a list like this. And so again, this is something we'll shoot out after the call. But again, covers AIG, Guardian. We added Ohio National, which was interesting after they had demutualized, which helped out a lot of our clients. Obviously, again, this is a supplementary program. This is not a replacement program. That is very key. So just want to present that first before we move into some more of our product information. So I'm going to just go ahead and blow up this screen here. Give me 1 second.
We're going to hit this at a rather high level, try to give you an idea of all the way to the left side, maybe a high cash value, high accumulation, high premium product. And then all the way on the other side, how we placed a $50 million policy earlier this year with about premium with Levinson of about $1.7 million a year. So we'll give you kind of both sides of it.
Great. And so at a high level, there's a couple different places that Mass Mutual really starts to excel. We mentioned earlier in the call, term insurance, right? I think everybody understands how term works, but what most people forget is that in late June, early July of this year, Mass Mutual repriced all of its term insurance. And so where Mass Mutual may not have been considered before because they were too expensive, may actually become more of a player now, and that has already occurred. We've seen term sales increase, of course. I don't think we'll ever be the cheapest on the marketplace. However, when you talk about converting into the arguably the best whole life product that's out there, that becomes more worth it. And so we have a term product pretty much for everything in between. We've got everything from a 10-year to a 30-year. We have extended convertibility, which obviously extends the time in which you can convert. And we also have an annually renewable term, again, very effective depending on what your client is looking to do. Couple that with the repricing, again, this has been very, very successful. Our product portfolio from a whole life perspective is nothing short of expansive. There are a lot of different things that we can do within these products. So we have a true 10-pay, we have a true pay to 100, and we've got the ground covered very well everywhere in between, including a high early cash value product. I know for myself, and I think John is seeing this as well, there's been a strong uptick in clients requesting things like infinite banking and be your own bank and things like that. And so we've been getting very creative, not only using a high early cash value product or even one of these other whole life products you see here, but also some of the riders that we have available. And I think part of the biggest strength of Mass Mutual is not only in the products, but in the riders that we offer. And our product offering coupled with our rider offering makes us really, really competitive. So with that, I'd like to just transition into one example here when you compare just different premium amounts and where it might fit into a client. So as you can see, our 10-pay when it came out was repriced, has a little bit lower guarantee, but a very strong cash value performance. There's a reason for that, and I think that's what's really driving our 10-pay production right now, given that it is arguably one of the strongest 10-pays on the market, period. If you're thinking about large cases in terms of premium financing or business-owned cases, we see a lot of 10-pay, a lot of 12, and a lot of 15-pay because those products perform really well when you stuff a lot of cash in them quickly. True pay to 65, we see a lot of traction there because a lot of clients are saying, hey, listen, you know, I'm an everyday client. Maybe I'm not a massive estate planning client, but again, everyday client, and paying to 65 because I plan on retiring to 65, it hits home with them. And so that's where we see in terms of financial planning and really scheduling everything to happen the way we need to comes into play. The other item that we
should ask you a quick question. I'm going to step on you for a minute and ask you a quick question. Yep. So you've got here in front of me a 10-pay, a 12-pay, a 15-pay, a 20-pay, and I'm a IUL guy. I'm looking at these and I'm thinking, well, what's the difference? I can do this same kind of thing. Is the difference with these that these are absolutely positively guaranteed to come true? If I buy a 15-pay, I'm done in 15 years, guaranteed. Is that correct?
Contractually paid up in the number of years you see there. Yes, that is correct.
So if I'm a business owner or I have a child that's 1 year old and at age 15 or at age 20, I want to put away money today for college. At not only at age 20 could I contractually guarantee to stop paying premium, but I would have an accumulation of cash with a high dividend paying AAA rated carrier. We've got strong guarantees in there, I guess is what I'm getting at. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yep. And the guarantees vary. And again, that part of that guarantee is going to drive the cash value. So as you guys know, the lower the guarantee, the higher the cash performance, at least from what we're seeing. And so that's really driving the 10-pay to have a really strong cash performance as you work your way up towards a pay to 100 or a high early cash value type product, because your guarantee is higher, your premium is lower, which is what you're seeing here. And that's where you get to more cost-effective death benefit. But to your point, the guarantees get higher as you get older out there.
Can you talk to us for a couple of minutes, because I'm keeping it on the clock as well.
Sure.
Maybe start to slide towards, so we have the clients decided that they want whole life, and whether it be pay to 100 or pay to 10 years, what are some of the riders that are available? Like Bill talked about the long-term care rider. Talk to us about that a little bit, if you would, or show us the slide that pertains to it, if you don't mind.
Absolutely, yeah. So again, long-term care rider is popular, but our riders in general at MassMutual allow us to be flexible. So in this sense, when we talk about whether it's overfunding a policy, whether it's a policy for yourself or for a kid's policy or one of your clients, we've got a rider to do that. We've got a rider to lower the cost of your death benefit. And we have long-term care, and we also have a chronic illness rider. We'll talk about the differences in just a second. But the product suite that we have is great. The riders that we have make them even better. And so if you don't know about it, we're not saying memorize this slide. We're just saying, you know, reach out to your resources locally and we can work that out for you. Very quickly, I'll go through some of these riders here that are extremely important. The second one down, additional life insurance rider, that's your overfunding rider. That's your cash bucket rider that drives that extra cash performance that allows your clients to dump more money into their contracts, not only today, but later on. We see a lot of requests for that for overfunded policies. The next one down, life insurance supplement rider. Let's say your client is solving for $1 million death benefit, but can't afford some of the premiums that we showed on the previous slide. Well, how do we reduce some of that? Well, we blend in this term rider that gets bought up automatically over time using that dividend. And so we use that life insurance supplement rider. Last but certainly not least is that long-term care access rider. And I'll even argue the chronic illness rider should be included as well. Long-term care is a huge problem in the United States. We expect it only to get more expensive, not less. And sometimes I wish it was the opposite. But of course, long-term care access rider allows you to accelerate your death benefit while you're here to pay for those long-term care expenses. You can go anywhere from a 2-year to a 10-year, and we can work you through that case design, and it is a reimbursement policy. Chronic illness is a very similar rider to that, but it has been very, very successful in the sense that that is an indemnity rider. So for years, a lot of people had an issue or wanted an alternative, I should say, to reimbursement type policies, and MassMutual launched a chronic illness rider to be able to provide an indemnity type benefit to your clients. So that is available as well. So those are extremely powerful riders that just make what's already good really great. Any questions on that? All right, beautiful.
Hi, Nick.
Yes.
Real quick, I do see one question from the audience. Do all the riders charge fees, and is there any rider included without any fees?
The riders included are the transfer of insured rider. That's automatic on every contract. We don't necessarily discuss that too much. Outside of that, the waiver premium, ALIR, LISR, those tend to have, I wouldn't say charges, but obviously an added cost. The life insurance supplement rider, though, the only real quote unquote cost to that is the premium in which you're allocating to buy up that LISR and convert it over time. But outside of that, for the most part, these are all going to have small charges associated to it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
What we wanted to try to do, it's difficult to take and give you the whole MassMutual story. I was trying to think of a couple of ways, as Nick, thank you for covering this with us, how I can sum it up for you. MassMutual has a barbershop and a helipad in the home office, and thousands of people everywhere, 2 or 3 different campuses, and none of that has to be a problem for you because I work directly with Levinson. I'll hold your hand, navigate it. My job is to take this massive MassMutual, find the product that works for you and your client, and help you get it in and out of underwriting. And I think we do a pretty good job of that. So if you work with your Levinson team, if you think you have a case that might fit, we'll somehow get a look at it on the back end. We're more than willing to help you any way that we possibly can to earn your life insurance sales. Again, keep in mind, we are a disability carrier, a white collar disability carrier, more competitive when you get outside of the state of Florida and California. And I'm not sure I need to tell you why, but since we have a national footprint here, we're a large player. I think we're going to stop there, and then we're going to start to segue here. Eddie, have you joined the call?
Yes, I've joined the call. Good afternoon.
So we're gonna do a hard stop, and we're gonna shift gears, but we're gonna continue with the same product. I was trying to think of a way that we could present something to you that is not taking away from what you're currently doing right now. Let me give you an example of that. You absolutely love the carrier that you're selling business with right now. You like the underwriters, you like the product, your clients like it. And I'm not selling my IUL that I'm doing or whatever it is to selling MassMutual. It's just not a fit. What if we could create another market for you? What if we could show you a situation that if you're in the life insurance business, you have someone that fits what we're going to share with you right now. And that's the ability to go out to business owners and offer them a benefit that's voluntary that can give them guaranteed life insurance. Yes, I said guaranteed life insurance, and I'm going to stop pretty quick here because I don't want to take Eddie's story. But Eddie oversees what we call our worksite insurance program. I think it's absolutely exceptional. It's so great that the agency that I work in right now is getting ready to launch it for all of our employees starting January 1st of this year. So Eddie, I don't know if you have the ability to show your slides or not. If you don't, can you walk us through what worksite is, how it works, what I'm looking for? Take it away if you would, please.
Sure. Yeah. I don't think I could present. I don't think I have that option. But again, really, thank you very much for having me. And you look at. Oh, I have something here. Give me one second.
Yeah, you should be able to show your screen if you. Yep, I think we're good.
Did you see it? Yep. Great. So you look at again, this is just one other arrow in your quiver, right? For the opportunities that come in front. And you look at what's happening. We go back to March of 2020. We all remember when it was, COVID was declared the global pandemic. A lot of people forget what happened just 4 months right after that was announced. And if you remember, 22 million employees were left unemployed. And what happens with with most benefits when you leave your employer or they let people go is you lose your insurance benefits. And a lot of folks thought, okay, well, I have always insurance at work. I have insurance at work. And a lot of folks were left in the middle of the pandemic with no insurance. And those that were healthy, they were able to file and go purchase insurance on their own through underwriting, but those that weren't didn't have the opportunity. So this is one of those arrows that you have, or opportunities that you could reach out to any business owner that has more than 10 employees and offer them something that is kind of what we just mentioned, guaranteed. So yes, regardless of if somebody's been denied in the past for insurance because of a medical condition or whatnot, there is guaranteed coverage available through our product. So I'll go and get into that in just a bit, but let's talk a little bit about the key features of the product. So key features, number one, guaranteed level premium. So as you know, whole life premiums never change. They're guaranteed for as long as you have the contract. Typical group term products, they go up in price, annual renewable terms, et cetera, while you're working. These premiums stay the same while you're working. Even when you leave, we'll talk a little bit more about portability, rates stay the same. So very, very easy to be able to provide something like that. Guaranteed cash value growth. So regardless of what the market's doing, that cash is going to continue to accumulate there for reasons that you could use for emergencies, for retirement, whatever that may be in the future. Guaranteed death benefit. This is very, very important. For a lot of you that may be acquainted with group term products, typically when somebody or employee gets to age 60, 65, or 70, the carrier typically starts reducing the amount of coverage it offers those. Why? To reduce their risk, pretty much. So this is guaranteed death benefit. So no matter what happens, whatever that employee decides to purchase that year, that is their insurance benefit throughout their lifetime. It actually increases with some of the other options that we have available, like paid up additions with the payment of dividends. Simple application, I'll go over that in just a bit. Dividend eligible, again, what makes us very different than most carriers out there, that we're probably one of the only insurance carriers that has a group benefit, a group whole life that is participating or dividend eligible. Although they're not, dividends are not guaranteed. We have paid dividends every single year since 1851 throughout the world wars and depression. So again, that's one of the big differentiators of our group whole life product at MassMutual. Chronic care, we're going to get there in just a bit, but this is probably one of the #1 reasons why so many brokers or agents and companies are looking at why they want to add this product to their benefit portfolio. And last but not least is the portability option. So this is a portable product. So yes, if an employee would have, let's say back in COVID, would have purchased this pre-COVID, something would have happened. All their other benefits would have been canceled. This is something they could have taken with them and paid on their own. So again, this is a product that's offered on a payroll deduction basis. So very easily offered to the employees, and payments come right out of their paychecks in most cases. I do get the question, are there other options for direct bill in some cases? And that is an option depending on the case, but that's something we could discuss on a one-on-one basis. Really quick on the optional riders. So these are the 2 optional riders that you're able to add to the plan. Is the one waiver premium. Again, if anybody becomes disabled, MassMutual kicks in and starts making the premium payments after the 6-month waiting period, and the accidental death benefit, which just multiplies the amount of the coverage. So chronic illness. So we talked about it a little bit. I don't think we talk enough, but this is where things are going. And as much as we don't want to talk about it, today's numbers right now, I hope everybody's studying, but 6 out of 10 Americans today suffer from a chronic illness. 6 out of 10 Americans today suffer from a chronic illness after age 65. So you think about that, putting that to perspective, 6 out of 10 people in a room will develop that. How are they going to take care of those expenses? And if you think about it, we all know somebody that takes care of a family member. Maybe we do it ourselves, where we, put money together to help pay for some of those things. Our product, and I'll repeat this twice, our group whole life product, this is not a rider. This is built into our product. So in other words, if the employee is purchasing a MassMutual group whole life product, this is going to come in attached to it, and access to everyone. So everybody that's buying a whole life product with MassMutual, this is a built-in benefit. So why is that so important? Well, we talk about, the number one leading cause of death in the United States by disability. Over 3/4 of all money that's spent on healthcare, or $3.5 trillion, goes to pay chronic illness diseases. So again, something that's very prevalent. We think about right now, 10,000 people are turning 65 every single day, 10,000. And where we're looking at, when you look at legislation, what happened in Washington State, for example, there's things that are going to come down, and the opportunity is just a massive opportunity that can be coming in the next few years. So again, a good way to provide a product that covers a chronic illness benefit or kind of long-term care potential by just adding our product. Now, our product is much better than long-term care, and here are the differences. So ours is called a chronic care benefit. And one of the things is we provide a lump sum payment to the beneficiary, to the person that owns the policy. So the way to qualify is same thing as long-term care, permanent loss of being able to perform 2 of the 6 activities of daily living. You can't eat on your own, bathe on your own, transfer on your own. So if you have 2 permanent loss or severe cognitive impairment, something like losing, being able to, you determine that you have dementia or Alzheimer's, for example, would also qualify to use this benefit. It is an advance off the death benefit that you purchase. So the higher the death benefit the employee purchases, guess what? That's a higher amount that they get for long-term care or chronic care benefit. Typical long-term care, it's small monthly payments, very small. So typically 4 to 6% per month. It's a reimbursement benefit typically if you have a long-term care policy. Ours is not like that. So it's a lump sum of cash. You use it however you please. And that's big because, sometimes you have expenses that come up at the beginning of the chronic illness that you have to take care of. You're able to use that money for whatever reason. So we have no plan of care required. So typical long-term care will require that you have a plan of care at an approved facility. We don't require that. You could use the money however you want. You want to use the money to get care at home or remodel your bathroom so you have access, to wheelchair access or whatnot. You could use the money for that. You want to use the money to go on vacation. You could use it for that. So again, this provides the opportunity and flexibility for the person that's undergoing the chronic illness to be able to use this. So there's no additional premium or underwriting. This is huge. Most long-term care carriers, if you're doing individual or if you have a rider that's on a whole life product, most other carriers, you still have to answer some underwriting questions to qualify, and you pay extra premium. We do not require any additional premium. This is built in to every policy. So you could really look at this policy as not just a whole life policy, but really a financial wellness policy, which covers a lot of the aspects of the daily living, of what happens while you're alive, what happens after retirement. This is just not a death benefit. So much more. Yes.
Do me a favor in our last 5 minutes here, and thank you for this so far. Show me what it looks like. I'm a business owner. How many employees do I have to have? And while you're maybe looking for that slide, I'll kind of share with you specifically what I'm looking at. Why would Coastal Wealth, why would our MassMutual agency do this? We have 100 employees in there. How much could I get as an employee? How much is guaranteed issue? Is it just one time that I'm able to buy this and never again? Can you touch a little bit on what it actually means? What kind of, let's just say I have a history of high blood pressure. It's controlled. My weight is a little out of whack. I'm a table 4 to any insurance company I go to. You're telling me I could get coverage here? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
That's exactly right. So we have, a certain amount will be guaranteed issue. So again, as long as a case has more than 10 employees or 25, depending, that will determine the guaranteed issues. But if somebody's, for example, let's give you an example, there's somebody, cancer is very prevalent in our society. Let's say there was an employee at ABC company that actively had cancer and they were going to get chemo treatments and whatnot. If they went to get insurance on their own, they would be denied right on the spot. With this product, they would have the ability to purchase up to the guaranteed issue limit, which is up to $100,000 that first year. They're able to buy up to $100,000 that first year on a guaranteed issue basis, the same rate as everybody else in the group, which is huge. So regardless of current or past or even denials in the past, even if they were with MassMutual, the employees have the ability to purchase up to the guaranteed issue limit. And what we ask for guaranteed issue is that middle question there. They just have to confirm that they're actively at work. So they can't be somebody that's out on disability. As long as you're actively at work, you qualify to buy up to the guaranteed issue limit, regardless of any past medical history. Now, if you decided you wanted to buy more than $100,000, you could do that just by answering question number 3, which is what we call express issue. And there you just ask, in the last 2 years, have you been diagnosed, treated for any of the following? So this is very competitive, the best in the industry and most flexible. Most carriers have a 10-year look back, 5-year look back. Ours is just 2. Somebody that just had cancer is cancer free. It's been 2 years. They can now buy up to $250,000, no medical required. And they could do that every single year as long as they can answer these 3 questions.
So let's touch on that for a minute, Eddie, if we could, to make sure we hit this hard as we wrap up here. So you've got my brother who's in California. He owns a mortgage company and he has a heart condition that seems to be under control, but he's not insurable out there in the real world. He has about 25 employees. He wants, $50 million of life insurance, but let's say he wants a couple of $1 million of coverage. With this program, he can't get it today, but he can get 250 today, 250 next year. He can stack these to where 5 years from now, he has his $1 million of whole life insurance at the same rate that all of his healthy employees are getting. Is that correct?
That is correct. So he has access to being able to do that and get to his million over a few years if he wanted to do that. And we're one of the only
long-term care rider. I've got all these benefits. When prior to meeting with my agent, I had nothing. I now have a product at perfect rates, no story to tell, that has all of these benefits tied to it.
That's exactly right. And this is it. What you see here, these are the questions. I get questions of, well, what about my height and blood and weight? And, do I need to provide doctors? None of that. This is it. There's nothing outside of these questions that you see here that would qualify the person. So this is all that we use for underwriting, as simple as that.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah. So
what's your closing shot? What do you want to hit us with to wow us in your next 60 seconds?
Well, you know what? If you want to think about, how do you find who's a person? Think about anybody that you've declined in the past. Anybody you've declined in the past. If they're business owners, this is gonna be the solution for them. Number one. Number two, if they're not business owners, it doesn't mean they don't work or it won't be a good client. That could be somebody that works at a company, and maybe this is a way to segue into that. So again, this is something that 90% of companies in the United States do not have a chronic care benefit or a benefit like this that they offer their employees. You could ask them, are you offering anything to your employees today that covers your employees for long-term care? They're going to be silent. They're not going to say anything. You're going to say, I have a solution for you. And the other thing is everybody's going to qualify regardless of their past medical conditions or even current medical conditions. Again, this is a very, very, popular product. And it's going to be, pretty much most companies are prospects. Again, if they want to also bring and enhance their benefit package by providing something that's just not group term. We're not replacing group term. This is just an enhancement. With great resignation going on. Hey, we were bettering our employer package, our benefit package, so you to retain good employees and also attract good talent from the outside.
Eddie, thank you so much. As we wrap up, we're going to turn it back to you, Bill, here in just a second. I think about why again, MassMutual. How do we get to Levinson? I have a MassMutual agency down the street from me in Des Moines, Iowa. The agency that I sit in here in Florida is probably the second or third largest agency in all of MassMutual. Why is that important? Because we get to the front of the line. When it comes to worksite, we just so happen to lead the company in worksite. We have a huge agency here in South Florida, and I have a really good friendship and relationship with Levinson that I'll try to walk through a brick wall for you if it's possible. So if you come across the case, certainly talk to your team at Levinson. Somehow I'll get involved behind the scenes and we'll do anything that we can to help you to do business with us. I thank you all for your time. I wish you a happy holiday. If you don't mind, Bill, I'm going to sit and quiet and listen to the rest of your call. But thank you very much for allowing us to come in today.
No problem at all. John, Nick, Eddie, fantastic work as always. What we're going to do is I'll have you guys send over some of the brochures and marketing pieces that we just went over, and then I'll send it out to all the agents that we're on, and then we'll blast this out to all 22,000 agents over the weekend. So Some great information here. And I think the key word that John mentioned, if you do have a case, right, and we need maybe a underwriting concession, a favor, anything, okay, we can get John involved. So once you're active, you're set up under Levinson. If we need to circle back John or any one of his teammates there, no problem at all. They're there to help us 100% of the way. So you just feel comfortable knowing that. Okay, the next slide real fast is how to get started. So everything is on our website. Okay, if you just hover over appointments contracting, you'll see that little yellow arrow, my contracting, and then just following under that section, request contracting, then pre-appointment. Right side is you'll find traditional whole life, and then Mass Mutual. All the marketing information is at your fingertips. Next up, this has been probably I would say one of the two hottest lead programs for 2022. This one we just launched about 8 to 10 weeks ago. And the way this came about, we have a successful agent in Northern Florida, Richard, who focuses on larger cases, annuities, and he introduced me to this lead vendor. And long story short, we did a co-op, a big campaign with him, and his average return was about 2 to 4% on the mailers. So we negotiated a co-op discounted rate for all agents. Okay, now keep in mind, these are financial services leads. Okay, so that can open doors to the large IUL, the large whole life case, the large annuity, right? Especially right now, that's a hot topic in the industry. So this is a great, great door opener. It uses your name, address for the return. So again, these people are reaching out to you, not a third party company. And at those prices, $525 for 1,000 mailers, you're saving about 10 to 15%, depending on which mailer you choose. Plus, they can do custom mailers for you as well. But the program is working great, especially for larger cases. Anyway, that landing page is already built with our logo on there. You'll see everything on our website, or just ask any one of our marketers. And we were talking about the infinite banking strategy earlier. Now, what I want to mention real fast is we have exclusive access, in fact, with co-op pricing for Levinson active agents for YFB, and we do use Mutual Trust Life and Lafayette Life with this specific platform because it's built into the training. But again, this is a great way to open doors. And once you have the consumer on the phone, right, or face to face, whatever, okay, and the solution is a whole life product, that doesn't mean we can't stack up the mass product against what we're seeing with Lafayette and MTL. Okay, so we have no problem looking at all of the hot products for you. And then obviously you run with what is best for you and your consumer. Okay, let's keep moving along. This is a great podcast episode. I sat down with the creators of the new Hero Term Life product by Assurity, and we basically did a 1-hour interview back and forth. And, you know, it's important to know if you're focused on the large case market, right? Small business owners, whatever it is, maybe final expense, maybe you like to sell term, and then you go back in and convert after a few years. Whatever your strategy is, you need to have a website, okay? And you need to have your social media pages up, right? And you need to have a way for a consumer to run a quote, right? And sign up online with zero agent involvement, especially, I said it before, the younger generation. This is the way they prefer to do business. Everyone has their iPhone glued to their eyeballs, okay? Knowing that, and it doesn't matter what type of agent, again, you have to have a platform where these consumers can look you up, run a quote, apply online. So have that running in the background. And then obviously you get involved as soon as it's a nice case or they need someone to speak to. And then you pivot whichever direction you need to go in. But you got to write it down. For 2023, you got to get your website up and running, social media pages, and your Insure Me Now direct page. It's crucial, right? And you say, well, Bill, I have my client base and they love me and they're not going anywhere. Well, that's fine, Bob, but you know, you've been doing this for 58.5 years and your client base, right, and your referrals are going to start to die off, unfortunately, or they're going to send their children or their grandchildren, and they're not used to doing business the same way. My point is, you have to cater to all generations to be successful and to grow your business. Okay. It's a different world now than it was, say, pre COVID. Okay. And you have to innovate, and we're here to help you with these great products, technology, and Insure Me Now Direct, and it's all free. Okay. So, very important stuff. Next slide. I'm just about done here. This is our future trainings, two that I want to point out on the bottom. Number one is that Hero Term Life product. The official launch is next week on Positive Tuesday. So write that down on the 6th at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then we're doing some holiday giveaways. We're going to tie in directly with any product sales on our Insure Me Now Direct platform. Plus, we just added the SureBridge term. We added the SureBridge guaranteed issue products. So we have some really cool stuff that we're launching on Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. And then on the bottom there, we are diving into the hottest selling hybrid product in the industry, bar none, at Levinson and in the industry, period. Okay, so we have that carrier coming on. It's life and LTC combined. We also have an annuity with LTC combined hybrid as well. That's on Thursday, the same week. And then, of course, we have some really cool giveaways that we're doing the rest of December for the holidays. Okay, another way of saying thank you to our agents. Our last slide and our giveaway that we are doing right now as we speak. So this was a one-on-one. Actually, this was the first Living Benefits Certification live meeting that we hosted a few weeks back in Boca Raton. It's a little picture there of me, Carrie, our VP at LSW, and then that was our room on the bottom there with agents, local agents. That was a great time. We also have a webinar version. If you want to get Living Benefits certified, just let any one of our marketers know. That's our Positive Tuesday quote. Better decisions plus better relationships always equal a more productive life. That should be another goal for the new year, okay? And I know it sounds very simple, right? But doesn't make a difference. Sometimes those simple, small things change the course and direction of a business, of an agent, of the outcome of your year. So these little things are crucial. Jot them down. Don't forget them. Let's have our question of the day right now. So what I want to do is I want to ask everyone, make sure your little fingers are on the keyboard and you're ready to roll. Whoever answers first and correct wins. As you know, the answer to this question was on one of the prior slides. Okay, so everything was there. If you were taking notes, I know you got this. Annalise is watching, and the question is, you tell me. I pulled up that CNBC fact check little article there. 2020, the total benefits paid to beneficiaries. So the total life insurance benefits paid to beneficiaries was how much? In fact, I'll even read the bullet here. U.S. life insurers paid more than what amount to beneficiaries in 2020? It was a 15.4% increase over payments compared to the prior year. Okay? Couldn't be a better time to be a life insurance agent, by the way. These are facts that you need to share. They're all on Google, and this was provided by MIB Study. Okay, so these are facts. You tell me the number, you win. Annalise, can you tell me who was first?
Yes. So the first and correct answer was given by Barry G.
Barry G. Congratulations. The answer was $90 billion. $90 billion. Congrats, Barry G. You get the Amazon Tech Package, IUL Prospecting Book. Let's all have a great day, a great week, a great weekend, great selling. Happy holidays. Keep your eyes posted for our thank you email you'll have tonight before we leave. And then also the 411 monthly updates video will also be sent out by the weekend. Okay, we're here to help. Call for any Mass Mutual quotes or any assistance. And thanks again for the team at Mass Mutual as well. Take care and great selling.